Logan Staats, thank you so much for joining us. I want to first start with where you are right now. As of September, land defenders have once again gathered in Fairy Creek to protect old growth forests from industrial logging. The RCMP have been making arrests and attempting to dismantle the cougar camp there. Can you tell us why you wanted to be there and take part?
I think land defense for me over the last couple of years has just become a great way for me to connect with my community, to represent my community. You know, it's one of those places outside of music where I just like full-heartedly know I'm doing the right thing without a doubt. You know, and I think there's very few places like that in our lives, you know, but when I'm here, when my boots are on the ground and I'm standing up for the land, I know that I'm doing what Creator wants me to do.
Feels like you're following your heart, eh?
Mm-hmm.
The Pacheedaht First Nation has asserted its rights in deciding how resources in their territory are managed, and that includes the Fairy Creek area there and the old growth forests there. What do you say to that First Nation and its leadership regarding this ongoing issue?
You know, when it comes down to this sort of thing, I always think about my personal feelings and like what I was taught the law is, and for me, the law is always the land. You know, and that's what comes first, you know, so I always try to keep that in my heart, you know, what does the land want? What does the land need? And other than that, you know, I try not to get too involved.
No, I hear you. Where are you at with the RCMP and the rest of the land defenders there? Can you give us an update?
Yeah, there was several arrests, you know, some peaceful land defenders were arrested a couple days ago. They're in the process of rebuilding the camp. And yesterday we had another visit from RCMP and law enforcement. So we're expecting the worst.
Sorry to hear. Switching gears, Logan, you recently took part in a residential school denialism protest involving interim 1BC leader and MLA Dallas Brody and former academic Frances Widdowson. Can you tell us what that experience was like and why you got involved?
Yeah, I think first off, I just don't want to have any part in just like normalizing this conversation, like having people think that it's okay to even have this conversation, such a despicable, disgusting, profoundly offensive notion, you know. I don't want to have any part in just like validating that conversation. I don't think people should even be talking about that. It's harmful, it's triggering, it hurts, you know. But the one thing I will talk about is you know, the elders that stood up, the elders, the survivors who, you know, shared their stories and their tears that day, the 600 people who stood up for the right thing, you know, that was inspiring. That was truth and reconciliation for me, you know. And what I realized is it comes from within. It comes from our communities. It comes from the revitalization of our languages and our lands and all of this stuff. It's all connected, you know.
Have you been impacted personally by the residential school system?
Yeah, you know, I'm from Six Nations. It's affected the whole community. You know, my mom went to Indian day school. You know, it's drastically affected me. So it definitely hit a personal note for me, you know, and it definitely struck a chord for me, you know, and I just want to thank APTN, you know, for giving me the opportunity to hold my truth, because with these far-right media organizations, they tend to twist the narrative. And for them to call me, Tanya Tadak, violent extremists is completely ludicrous. You know, we're both Juno-nominated, Juno Award-winning artists, you know, who are deeply connected to our community and deeply connected to uplifting our community. So for them to label us like that was just a joke, you know?
Our cameras caught much of the disruption between you and 1BC, and some of those party members are calling for your arrest. What do you want to say to them about the messages they were trying to convey that day?
They're despicable, you know? They're despicable, they hurt, they're triggering, not only for me, but for many people in our communities, you know, and I will continue to stand up for our survivors. I will continue to stand up for our elders, you know, and I carry no shame, and I would not change a thing, you know. I feel like I did the right thing in that moment, you know, and trust me, they were pushing us to be violent, you know, and our definition of warrior is the one who carries the burden of peace. And I know that I did that day, and I know I was peaceful.
Finally, Logan, can you share a message with the residential school survivors out there and why you wanted to take part?
Just that you're loved, that I love you, that your community loves you, that you're needed, that your stories are valid, that we hear you, that we're with you, that we support you, and that we'll fight for you.
Logan Staats, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, and please stay safe out there.
Yeah, we'll go.